Well, hey, everybody, it's Dr. Phil, but of course you know that. We are live today on my YouTube channel and Facebook. And look, I haven't done a podcast, a fresh podcast content for a while because I've had it on hiatus for a while. I've been doing some highlights from prior podcasts because I've waited until today when I have relaunched Fill in the Blanks, because I wanted to launch it at the same time I launched the new network, Merit Street Media. And so today I've launched Merit Street Media and I'm relaunching Fill in the Blanks. And look, you've known me for getting straight to the point, using facts, research, and a bit of tough love to guide the way. And now I do that every night on my new show, Dr. Phil Primetime. From the grip of social media to the trials of modern parenting. We're not shying away from anything. Look, it's high time we face these challenges together with practical advice you can apply directly to your life. I want to give you television you can use. I don't want to just talk about things in some theory. I've always said I want to talk about things that matter to people who care, and those things have changed. So what I'm talking about is changing. So if you're ready for some real talk that's as insightful as it is actionable, then you want to make Dr. Phil Primetime your nightly destination on Merit Street Media. Remember, it's your life, and it's about time we start addressing what truly matters. So tune in to Dr. Phil Primetime every night on Merit Street Media. Don't miss out. Your journey to confronting and overcoming life's challenges starts right here. Go to meritstreetmedia.com to find your local channels. Now, let's get to what we're talking about today. In too many instances, we've gotten rid of the most important American trait, and that's self-determination, and replaced it with victimization. We've gotten rid of conversation and replaced it with cancellation. Here with me today is one of my best friends ever. This is a great man. And when I say that he is a true friend, we talk about things between us that we don't talk about with anybody else. Just the two of us have closed door conversations that, boy, would you like to be a fly on the wall. And maybe today we'll talk about some of those things, not all, but some of those things. This is a friend that knows the true meaning of those words that we've been talking about. And from identifying his purpose at a very young age, carving out his life's philosophy of you have to dream big and believe that you will succeed, to taking a leap of faith into comedy, Steve Harvey has become one of the most recognizable names and faces, not just in America, but in the entire world. He's an Emmy award-winning entertainer, radio personality, motivational speaker, New York Times best-selling author, businessman, philanthropist, and an esteemed member of Omega Psi fraternity, and the first international fraternal organization founded on the campus of a historically Black college. Now, these are the Steve Harvey facts, and together we're diving into creating success in your life, your community, your state, and really importantly, our country. So I want to welcome back to my podcast live today. Live, Steve. That's a warning. Live.
Yeah.
I want to welcome back my great friend, Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
Steve,
Woo! Yeah.
here we go.
Smoking. That was great. Who was that guy?
I don't know.
I was listening to that intro. I was going, I want to go see him.
Yeah, don't you though?
Yeah, man. How you been?
I've been well. How about yourself?
Man, I'm my life is shining, man. It's just shining.
Do you seriously, do you ever sit back and take a pause and look at where your life is now and reflect back on where it's come from and think, how in the world did I get here?
Man, I can't count the times I've done it. It's just it's amazing to me. Man, my life is filled with so much favor, but it's been filled with so much hardship and so many tribulations and trials, man. I didn't see how I was gonna get here. And then when I look around, when I take a moment, like you say, to pause and look at where I am, I'm amazed by it all. You know, I got some steps to my front door at my house. And when I pull up at night and I pull my car in front of them steps, it's 33 steps up to my front door. It's 11 steps, then it's a platform, 11 more platform landing, and then 11 more, and there's a door. And I call them my thank you, Jesus steps. Because when I'm going up them steps, man, I thank him the whole time I'm walking up the steps. Now, keep in mind now, this is the end of the night. I'm beat. I done a full radio show that day. I done a full day of Family Feud, and you're on your feet all day, and I'm walking up them steps, and I call them the thank you, Jesus steps. And I say it every time because the house I live in, I actually profess that house. I got halfway up those steps and turned around and looked back at the fountain, and I said, man, one day, I'm gonna get a fountain like that in front. Cause I was visiting a buddy of mine at that house.
Really?
Yeah. And I stopped and I turned around. He said, man, stop acting crazy. Come on. I said, man, you gotta be kidding me, man. And that's the house I live in today.
But you used to visit that house.
I used to visit that house. I saw the house when it was being built. I was a part of it. And I saw that house when it was being built. And I told my wife, I said one day, and she told me, she said, Steve, not this house. We can't do this. We're going to downsize when the kids move. Well, I ain't never believed in downsizing. I don't know what downsizing is for, because I don't know how you get God to give you more and then you give it back. I ain't never been into that. Like, I don't do cutbacks. That just ain't my thing. I had a guy on my show, Clark Howard, and this ain't nothing negative, but he's just on the show, just kept telling everybody how to cut back. You know, cut your cable off, save money. Instead of driving your car to work, carpool. And I sat there for about a month. And I listened to that and I just couldn't take it no more because I'm not in the cutback business. I'm in the, if God bless me, I like to keep the blessing. So I don't really cut back. And my wife told me we was going to downsize. And that was the first major argument we ever had because I'm not in the downsizing business.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like your personality.
I don't see why, Philly. I really don't see why I would.
What's the crummiest place you've ever lived? I mean, you think back to can you think of the crummiest place you've ever lived?
Yeah, my car.
Yeah. What kind of car was it?
A Tempo.
A Tempo?
Ford Tempo.
A Ford Tempo?
Yeah.
I don't suppose it was new.
Oh, no, new. That would have been nice. No, I lived in that and I lived in a Bonneville. I had 2 cars. I lived in both of them. That was the worst place. When I think back of the poorest place I've lived is a house I grew up in, but at the time I didn't know that. It was par for the course. It was one of the houses on the block. Everybody lived like that, so I thought this is how you live. You 13 people in 1 bathroom. I thought that was it. But
because you didn't know any different at the time.
No.
Because I was the same way. I grew up poor, but at the time, if you've never ridden in anything but a 58 Volkswagen, if you've never been in a Cadillac, you don't know the difference, right? You don't know you got a bad deal. You just think this is the way it is.
Hey, we went to church in a 1968 Bel Air station wagon. And that was my first car in 75. My daddy gave me a 1968 Bel Air station wagon. That was my first car.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the car I went to church in. So,
you were born in West Virginia.
Yeah,
and that was not a real affluent time in your life. But there were 7 of y'all, right?
Yeah.
How many kids were in your family?
It was 5 kids.
5 kids, 7 families.
Mom and daddy was 7.
There were 7 in the family.
Yeah.
Did everybody work and contribute when you were growing up?
Yeah, that was a must. Wasn't no free rides in my daddy's house. He didn't.
Yeah.
When you, like we didn't have allowance and stuff like that. We had to work. We had to. I've had paper routes and pop bottle hustles ever since I was 10. So
I've wondered many times if that's the reason you and I got along so well so fast, because we've talked about this before, and I threw paper routes. I picked up pop bottles, and you'd get a nickel for some, and you'd get a dime for others, and put them together. And we've had some of those same experiences. And I don't know about you, but I would not want my kids to go through that. But I don't mind that I did. I mean, it's okay with me that I went through that at the time. I wouldn't want to do it again.
Yeah.
But and I wouldn't want my kids to do it. But I don't regret it.
No, I mean, look, man, it made us who we were. I mean, you look at everything you've gone through. I used to oftentimes question God all the time, man. Why is my life like this? As I got older. When I was a kid, it wasn't a question. This was what it was. But when I got older and homeless and all like that, I used to ask God, what is this about, man? I mean, look, come on. Enough is enough. But everything you're going through is preparing you for what's to come. You and I needed the pop bottle moments, the paper routes. You and I needed that so we could become who we are. Now, we grew up and we don't want our children to have that. So we work doubly hard so they don't have to go through the same things that we went through. And then that's a challenge I find for a lot of people who are doing better now, because you give so much to your kids that they miss some of them valuable lessons that you had to learn along the way. And then you start thinking to yourself, well, did I give them too much? What's the cutoff point? And, I wrestle with that all the time with my kids, because my kids didn't fight on the way. My kids went to school with a jacket that had a patch on it, with the blue shirt and uniforms. And they got demerits.
Yeah.
And they went to detention. When it was over with for me, school was over with for me, my detention and demerit was somebody had a demerit waiting on me in the playground. Because when the bell rang, I'm kicking, some tail, and yours is it today.
Yeah.
Well, my kids didn't have to go through that because they had a room with a bathroom in it. They own bathroom.
Yeah, their own bathroom.
Yeah. Look, man, I've said it before. Everybody, I don't care who you are, is going to have that turn back moment. Everybody is on path, on track to a destination. Everybody. Everybody has a dream. Everybody. And nobody is without dreams and visions. But somewhere along that dream or vision, you're going to have a moment where you can either continue or you turn back. The sad truth of the matter is, too many people turn back. And my turn back moment was, I was out there doing comedy. I was homeless. It wasn't going good, man. And I just had enough that day. And I was washing up in a hotel. And I was in there, and I used to go to fancy hotels to wash up because they had actual washcloths rolled up in a little basket.
Yeah.
And I used to wet them and take them in the toilet and put soap all over my body. Then I wait till the coast was clear, and I go out and rinse them out and go back in there and wipe off and then put my clothes on. And that was my bath. Well, that morning, a convention was in town, and when I got the soap, I went in there to soap up. A convention was in town, and I guess they had let out for a break, and people just kept coming in the bathroom, and I'm sitting there, and I got this soap on me, and it's drying, and I can't get back out there to get no fresh cloths to wash off, and the soap is drying on me, and I flipped the toilet lid down, and I sat there, and I just started crying. I said, this is it, man. I just can't do this no more. This comedy thing ain't working out. I ain't making enough money to take care of my family. I'm going to call my father, because my father told me once you leave here, you can't come back home. I'm going to call my old man and just cut a deal with him, see if he'll let me come back home for 6 months and get me a regular job. Let me give up on this comedy thing. And so when the bathroom finally cleared out, I was able to wash off. I went to get in the car. And before I called my daddy, I had an answering machine up in the attic at my mother and father's house. They let me plug up. And I called that answering machine, And I was just about to give up, and I said, I called the machine, and it said, hey, this is Chuck Sutton from Showtime at the Apollo. I saw a tape of you, and I was wondering if you could make it to New York on Sunday, and I'll put you on TV. You're a funny guy. Hope to hear from you. Click. Now, this was a Thursday. I'm in Pensacola, Florida. I got $35. And the Apollo Theater's in Harlem, New York. I got no way I'm going to make this gig. I'm going to be able to get there. And all of this time, man, I've been wanting to be on TV since I was a kid. Here's this TV moment, and I can't even get there. And, man, I was devastated. I said, God, look, this got to be a sign from God, sure enough to give up now, because I get the one crack to be on TV, and I can't even get there. So I sat down in the car, man, and tears is just coming down my face, man. I'm just sitting here going, I said, man, let me go and call my father. And I went back and I said, man, let me call and make sure he didn't say this Sunday. And I called back, hey, this is Chuck Sutton from Showtime at the Apollo. Man, I saw your tape. You're a really funny guy. I got an opening on Showtime at the Apollo Sunday night. If you can make it, please give me a call. Man, you're a funny guy. Click. I said, I'll be doggone this Sunday. And I was about to hang up. And, you know, the old-fashioned machines, it said, boop, it beeped again. So I picked up the phone. He said, hey, Steve Harvey, this is Tom Sobel from the Comedy Caravan. I don't know where you are, but I got a gig in Jacksonville, Florida that pays $150. If you can get there, the gig is Friday night. I'll pay you $150. Let me know. I called Tom Sobel, said, man, I can get there. So I got there Friday night. I made the $150. I performed. I was so good, the club owner said, hey, can you stick around tomorrow night? I'll pay you another $150. I got $300 now. I get on that phone and I call Showtime at the Apollo, Chuck Sutton. I say, hey, man, you still got that opening? He said, yeah, I got that opening, man. I said, I'll be there. Eastern Airlines was in business back then. It cost $99 fly from Jacksonville to New York. I caught a $99 flight. My first time ever on TV, Showtime at the Apollo. I still got the shirt. I still got the tape. I walked out. I got a standing ovation. I'm backstage. I'm crying. I can't stop crying. I done been on TV. And I thought about it. And the reason I couldn't stop crying, because 2 days ago, I was finna turn back. 2 days ago, I was finna call my daddy and give up. 2 days ago, had that happened, I'm not here talking to you today. And that turn back moment, man, that gave me the faith and the understanding of really how God works. See, if you quit, it'll never happen for you. But if you're hanging there, you don't know when God gonna flip the switch. And he flipped the switch right, because he saw me finna call. He knew I was serious. He said, this dude finna give up. Let me rescue him. But he had orchestrated the whole thing. And I didn't turn back. And that moment changed my life. Because when I got on TV, on Showtime the Apollo, that was the beginning of everything. Man, I've been on TV ever since.
Yeah, that's a gum. So I can eat one of these?
Yeah, you can eat one.
Is it going to taste good?
Oh, yeah.
Let's hope so.
And your brain, it will focus you. Like, you know how sometimes I can go off? Well, it focused me, Dr. Phil.
How you can go off?
You know, on tangents.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. She can go off sometimes.
Yeah.
But she's really smart. I got to give her that.
Right here, like I just chewed that one just now, and I'm like 30% smarter. Right
Really?
now. Yeah.
How many of these you eat at a time?
I try to eat about 13.
You know?
I'm a low number.
Well, I just had 2, and I feel like I could just tear up a Rubik's Cube. No, that really is, it does taste good.
It does, man.
All right.
Thank you, brother.
Well, Robin talked to me about this already. She digs into this and is serious. Elevate You. It's in Walmart right now. So go get some of this and download the Merit Plus app when you feel smart enough to do it. Okay? Thanks for being here, everybody. So long.